All right, welcome back. It is September 23rd. I had to look that up. Welcome back to Aligning with Success with Mike and Dave. And so we are now going into the last week of the month. And this is when things tend to ramp up. So whatever seeds that have been sown in the first 3 weeks of the month, this is when it's time to start to see the harvest of those, which means follow-up essentially and ABCs. Now, I'm not getting enough ABC calls. I don't know about you, Dave, but I'm not getting enough ABC calls.
No.
So, and the schedule that we put out for Thursday, for Thursday night's call, just let me go over that with everybody just for clarity, because some people are still asking when they should be using that call. So the business launch call is a super ABC, let's just say. It's with myself and Dave, and we basically want to meet the prospect that has been introduced to Niken as an opportunity. And they are now looking for more information about how the business side of this works. So they should come primed with questions. We want to get to know them and where they're coming from. So just imagine having either myself or Dave, or in this case, both of us, on an ABC call with somebody you have taken through the initial stages of the process, which would be, your questions and answers to find out what their why is, maybe a cursory overview of Niken, perhaps through the Tuesday night presentation, the opportunity presentation that we now have with Jeff hosting and guest presenters, which, by the way, I want to encourage you all to become a guest presenter. The goal of that particular presentation is multifaceted. One aspect of that presentation is obviously to introduce guests, to give them a cursory overview of Niken, and invite your guests to that presentation. But we'd also like it to be a platform to get more presenters presenting, so it creates more diversity and more interest, and also sharpens the axe where you're concerned. So don't just be a spectator. You guys are entrepreneurs. So become a professional, which means keep working on yourself and developing your ability to do what the leaders are doing. You see leaders doing something, then follow suit. We had some great presentations this past weekend. Connie was one of the presentations that we saw that I enjoyed so much this weekend. The storytelling, I thought that was one of the better Seiko Kais of all of them. It's definitely a tool that you should keep in your toolbox, because that was an education and something I think we all need to give new consultants an opportunity to gain understanding of. So I think that's a really good educational tool. Anyway, I digress. So back to the idea of Thursday. Thursday then is for somebody who you want to have really kick the tires of the opportunity. We want to be able to ask them questions, answer their questions. So it's not just a cut and paste presentation. Although we do have presentation materials standing by to be able to express the visuals of certain ideas, it's more interactive. It's more about really getting that person to a level of comfort where they feel this is a team collaborative effort and they're welcome to be part of this experience. So the goal of the conclusion of that meeting, Thursday night business launch meeting, would be that your prospect says, okay, I'm in. If they're not already signed up, they sign up. And they are asking the right questions about what products should they order, etc. So we put them on that track so that they're asking you the right questions as to what the next steps should be. And then it's go time where they're concerned. And a fresh new recruit has a names list. That's like 100 to 200 or more names that you get to go through with them. So if you're running short on leads, recruit somebody. They'll bring a whole batch of leads with you with them, and now you got a new. That's the secret to network marketing anyway. Is not what you not who you know, it's who they know.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in here, Michael, just with a couple of things. I'm out of town. I'm not at my home, so I didn't get to go on to Seiko Kai this week. But after it was posted, I got to review it and fast forward through to get as much content while I'm on vacation, so to speak, and to catch up. And a couple of things that were to me were important, and I'd like to really put some emphasis on the understanding in the sense of what we do. Now, in my experience, I started out in traditional corporate sales. So I was trained, and the corporate training was hard sell. And it was close, handle objections, handle objections, rebuff that, and keep going, hammer at them, hammer at them, after them. Same thing within it was in the insurance industry, it was in the oil and gas industry, it was in the car industry, and I didn't like doing that. That to me was like, ooh, it felt icky, if it was like I was forcing them to do something. But in my experience in Niken, you can't force people to do this. It's got to be by choice and self-determined and based on one key issue, and that's solving a problem. And so the whole idea, and what I liked about the storytelling was the idea of solving a problem. And I'm going to liken it to this because here's where we're not doing very well right now. We're not recruiting enough people. So it's the recruiting of people that expands the business. And it's a simple process, because if I come in and I go talk to my war market, I bring in 5, 10, 15 new people or 20 new people or 30 new people. Well, let's multiply that out 500 times. And then we grow by 1,500, 15,000, et cetera, which is what happened in the past. But it's the communication to the public that we're not dialing in or getting right yet, 100%. And so with the story, what I focused on, which was because of my need, I need to make 8 grand a month. So my whole focus was on understanding, how does that happen? How does Niken pay me? What do I have to do? And I found out very quickly that the key to that was to find other people that needed what I needed. That was the key. It was almost like, oh my God, slap yourself. You're kidding. It's that simple. And when I started to look for that, then I had to tell them a story. Now, one of the things that I observed in my research in the last 5 years was that people have shied away talking about the business because they're not making the kind of money that they're trying to get others to take a look at. So would you be interested in making 5,000, but you're only making 1,500? Would you be interested in making 10,000 a month, but you're only making 2,500? So you back off because you've got nothing to show them, because people don't, you get embarrassed by that particular phenomenon. So what I did, and this was very simple, is I created a business plan. And the business plan was to figure out, and this would be a good exercise for all of you to do, is how do you make 100,000 a year? And then you work out a detailed plan, like how many people, how many legs do you have to have, how much volume do you have to have? And you do it for 12 months, starting with month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. Well, that's what I did. I did it as a business, and I figured out what I had to do to make that month. My target was 120 grand. And then I went out doing it. So then when people asked me how I was doing, I was always approaching my target. So I said my second month in the business, I made 4,300 bucks. So to me, that wasn't good enough. My nut was 8,000, and I didn't know that that was any good, bad, or different. They'd say, "How are you doing?" Well, I'm on my way to making 120,000 this year. And then the difference was calculating 120 minus the 43, so I had 115,700 to go. So the next month I made 6,200. Well, how you doing, Dave? Well, I'm on my way to making 120 this year. And that's all they asked. They didn't ask for details. They didn't ask for how much. And all of a sudden, my confidence came up. Well, by the time I reached the end of the year, I made 119,000. So I came pretty close to the target. But here's what the moral of this story was. If you don't have a story, have somebody else's story. If you don't have one yourself, then use mine or use Michael's or use somebody else's story to tell, in the sense of, this is the potential. Use the income chart. You got some nice incomes on there that show what the potential of this business is, because the viewpoint of the person coming in is always based on potential. Because you have to understand, they've never seen this before. It's new to them. They don't understand anything. So they're looking at a void, and all they're looking at is, can this solve the problem? Now, along with that story is, I was telling Connie, we did this event in Portland, Oregon, and I read the story, The Little Engine That Could, to 8,000 people. And that was the lesson of the day. And it's amazing the impact. Now, what that meant to each and every different person was totally different, but it was the idea of you're communicating. So you get out there and tell as many stories as you can related to what you find is needed and wanted, and that's the solving of the problem. So those are the stories that you need to learn to tell.
Okay, I got to recap this, Dave. That was all too good. So I took some notes. All right. First of all, find other people who need what I need. Wow. Or look for people who needed what I needed. That's a huge, huge piece right there. Because if you're just trying to sell, shooting bullets left, right, and center, and you don't have a target, you're gonna miss 99% of your shots for sure, if not all of them. So looking to partner with people who are looking for what you're looking for, that's the easiest thing to identify, because you know exactly what you're looking for. And then you can ask them questions related to that to see if in fact that is something they're looking for.
Bingo.
So it's like that. This is like, not rocket science. This is really basic stuff, but this is a very huge point. If you're just firing left, right, and center, trying to hit a target, hoping to hit something that might be it's different when you're looking for people who are looking for what you want. And this is, of course, what we're talking about when we're talking about partnering and building a team. We're looking for people of like mind and people who have ambition and people who want to go somewhere. The next thing you said was selling the potential. You're selling the plan, not your results. You're selling the plan, not your results. I don't know of a single business investment I've ever made or been asked to make where they sold me the results. They only ever sold me the plan. It was always the potential for the results. I've never ever bought into something where it was already done. So we're only ever always selling the possibility, the potential. So if you look at yourself as what you're selling, or the results that you're getting as what you're selling or what you're offering, that's really short-sighted. Why don't you sell them what I'm getting as a result? If you're going to just arbitrarily decide what you're going to sell as a result, sell my result, sell Dave's result. That's a better result to sell anyway. And we can definitely back ours up, especially if you put them on the line with us. So sell the plan. Having a plan, hence why I've only ever had a single plan. That's my launch plan. And that launch plan leads to an ultimate outcome, which is the business plan, which is it's a visual. You can actually see what it looks like. Now, if I move towards building this, will it look exactly like this? Probably not. But at least it's a plan that I'm working towards, and there's some predictability in it. And then the results follow. People will start to align themselves with what it is that you're selling because they want what you want. The other thing was your story or have someone else's story. Leverage. Again, the biggest thing in network marketing, the biggest thing you have in this business, a new person has in this business, not you, a new person. Person starts today and they have no story whatsoever in Nikan. What do they got? What's the biggest thing they got? They got a board of directors that they can line up from here to Chicago, here to Los Angeles, full of incredible stories if they leverage, if they take advantage of the ABC. They come to this business in somebody's team. So all you have to do is check out who's in the team and who's got results and who can I ask to be an A for an ABC call. And now I come to a meeting armed with not just my story, which is the potential why I'm doing what I'm doing and the plan that I'm on, but the leverage of the people who are further down the road than I am, who can share their story. So with these 3 points, find other people who need what I need. Sell the plan, the potential, and have a story in the back pocket that can validate any plan you put on the table. There you go. Now do that enough times, you're going to attract your team. And that's going to start to multiply, especially if what you're teaching them is what we just said. So, wow, good stuff. What a great way to start the day.
Now, I just want to add one more point. In my prior existence, prior to doing this business, I had one of the largest telemarketing companies in the United States. We had 9 offices, about 160 people across the board. And in that job, my job was recruitment. So I was hiring people to work for me to represent our company and to, get a job done, et cetera, et cetera. So in that process, we went through the lowest of lows to the highest of highs of caliber of people. And what was really interesting about the interview process was you can really tell pretty quickly who's in or who's not. And when we found that common match, the person that needed what you needed match, bingo. Then you could collaborate, you could talk with each other, you could scheme, you could plan, you could organize, you could do things together. And it was that together, that was the team began to develop. And then that was very, very catchy because as soon as the 2 of you went and talked to somebody else, game over. And then you just kept doing that and doing that and doing that and built the team. So this is really an important topic because, again, the key to your success is not what you do, it's what other people do that you bring in. And so you've got to create a machine that's going to bring in at least one person can grow to thousands, and that'll start your team going. So very important stuff.
Fantastic. Okay, let's just open the floor for some questions. Anybody have some questions right now? No
Now,
questions.
this is the 4th week of our strategy planning month, right?
Yeah.
So in this particular part of the month, you're going to finish your goal. So if it was to go gold or go silver, go platinum, go diamond, whatever it is, then now's the time where you restructure everything, you line up the ducks, and then you go like the wind to make sure everything, all your I's are dotted, T's are crossed, the volume's in, the people are recruited, the meetings, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's you just focus on the activities that are known to create the results, and then you just push like hell until you get the job done, and then you reach the goal. And I can't tell you how many hundreds, if not thousands of times, people made it to the goal on the last day of the month in the 12th hour of the day, no matter what month it was. It could have been January, February, March, April, but because they made the decision at the beginning to go, and then they did the work that was required, they hit the target. So this is the week you pour on the coals. Okay, so we got some questions.
I have some incentive strategies to talk about as well. How you can leverage this month-end stretch is what I used to call it. So, Cheryl.
Yes, hello there. Thank you very much. I had a call with Eddie on Sunday. I just wanted to find out exactly what he wanted to do, like what direction he wanted to go in. So he did sign up. He is very interested in getting some products. So he is looking for products to get. I did give him some suggestions. Stuff, water, some nutritionals and some insoles energy products. And I just want to make sure that I don't do too much to make him go away. But he
Well,
is. Go ahead.
I
So
was going
I
to say,
can I
Cheryl, yeah, go ahead, Dave.
so here's the key to this, Shrill. What's really important is to understand what it is that he wants
That's it.
as a result of doing this business, this enterprise, being a distributor. We don't know what that means to him yet, but what is he going to get back from doing that? And then it's your job to lay that out. And in the laying out of that job, then comes in the product and the meetings and the activity and all that sort of stuff. And so that's where the next conversation would go. And you might want to do an ABC to do that.
Absolutely. I was going
That's
to
what I
say,
was thinking.
Cheryl, remember, people won't take any steps or make any actions unless there's an expectation, an expected result. So you've got to weigh it against what it is that they want. Otherwise, anything is going to seem like too much.
Okay.
But if you can get them to articulate what it is that they want in real numbers, then you can look at what it is you're asking and saying, I don't know if you remember, I think it was a week or two ago, I said, we talk about a person who spends 20 years after getting a university degree, thousands of dollars, even $100,000. They spent 20 years in the workforce. They get advanced, job to job to job. Finally, they land the job that they're in. They're making $5,000 a month, working 40 hours a week, every week of the year except 2. So that tells you what somebody's willing to do for that. And if they say they want to make $5,000 a month in Nikan, are they willing to do the same? Are they willing to invest that kind of time and energy and so forth? Because we know, in other words, are they being honest and are they being real? So if you can ask the question and find out what they want and what are they willing to do to get it, then you're going to find there's no investment in Nikan where the products are concerned is too much. No such thing.
Right. Okay.
So when somebody asks me, Mike, what product should I get? My answer is always the same. Here's my answer. All of them. I'm not finished. A better question to ask me is, what product should I start with? That's how I go. So what product should I get? All of them. A better question to ask me is, what product should I start with? And then I'm going to give them the explanation of whatever it is you decide to do in terms of starting your Nikan business. You are setting in motion something that you're going to duplicate. So make a good decision. It's one of your first decisions.
I'd like to add something here, Michael.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I observed coming from the corporate world was a term called return on investment.
Yeah.
And return on investment is really simple to understand. So let's say that you had $2,000 and you had that in the bank, and this was, you weren't sure what you were going to do with it, and you decide you're going to get a CD and get 5% today. So times 5% in a year, you'd make $100 at 5% on $2,000. So then in your scenario, that once he tells you what you want to show him how he could take that $2,000 and double that, make 100% on his money or 200% on his money. It's really small stuff. And then all of a sudden, the value of the investment is satisfied by the understanding of the return on the investment.
Is that clear? That's really important, because we actually have a slide in our PowerPoint presentation on Thursday night that shows two examples of a return on investment.
And this is, in most people that are doing business, this is a crucial point that may not get voiced or may get voiced, is if I spend the money, the risk factor and the return. So you got to provide that information. You give them a year. What do you make in a year? $100. Well, a year, you and I work together, well, I can double your money, or something like that. But you got to work out that plan, and you got to understanding what you need to do to back that up. It's not just idle chit chat. I mean, again, from the standpoint, first book, Vested Interest, chapter 1, treat it like a business. Okay, let's get down to the brass tacks here. You want to recruit 10 people, you want to sell $50 million worth of product, whatever the case may be, but the detail. but don't overwhelm them. Do, gentle, gentle.
And we also can demonstrate that in our call on Thursday night. So if that's a question that you want to raise, because it's a question you've discussed with this individual, then we'll present the examples of what a person can achieve. And of course, it's all based on potential. But at the end of the day, our future is always that, based on potential. Judy.
Yes, thank you. It's Judy Matt here. I have a gal and I have been speaking to her for some time, along the same lines as Cheryl. In recruiting her, she's a customer, she has products, she knows what Nikan is through the products that she has been using. She has 2 young children. She has 2 or 3 small businesses that she's involved in. So she runs from one to the other. And so I've been talking to her about moving up from a customer to a consultant. And I really like the idea of the Thursday to get her on without overwhelming her, as you're saying, Dave, I know that she'll get there and I know that she'll be very good at doing it. It's getting the bits and pieces together for her so that she can understand that she needs money. She has a young family and she and her husband both work very hard, and they do need to increase their income.
Well,
So-
there's need and there's want. Which one are you working on?
Well, they need and they want both.
Okay.
So that's why I think that she would work well within the Nikan system, but it's that last little step, to say the commitment step. So if I can get her to come on and get a spot for her on a Thursday night call,
Yeah.
she won't ask me about the compensation program. Well, I can't explain that myself.
No
So
problem.
I need somebody else to explain that
So
in
just
layman's
keep
terms to her. So
Thursday night is show me the money night, okay? For everybody, the vernacular, show me the money night. Brand night is the products. Thursday is show me the money. Tuesday is what are we doing here? What's this all about? Okay.
Planning and strategy.
okay,
All
well,
right.
thank you. That's what I'm going to try and get her to.
Judy,
Come on.
one point. Do you know what she wants?
In terms of,
From the standpoint of her, what does she want by doing this coming aboard?
you're talking about amount of money or just that she needs and she wants income. She wants to be able to take care of her family, have time with her boys, and she can work from home more easier than going out running, doing 3.
Can
Okay, I
you
might
nail
make
it
a
down to a
suggestion.
number? Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get it down to a number because, again, that's the real world. What's the budget? What are we trying to solve? And then the other issue would be is, by the sounds of it, she's doing many different things. And
Yeah.
what the solution should be is one thing.
Right.
So you could come in like the Knight on the White Horse with the plan. Here's what you said you want. Here's the plan. This is how long it's going to take there. I'm willing to work my ass off to help you, and we'll get this done in 6 months. So let's get started, okay?
Okay.
And then wait for the answer.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay.
Welcome. Maggie.
Yeah, just a quick question, Michael. The gal that we have in the process, she's done Tuesday, Wednesday, and Seiko Kai, plus some other small things. And Thursday nights just don't work for her because she's always on the road and she can't really.
Okay.
she could
Set it up with me with an ABC.
That was my question. And she's thinking mornings are better. She's here on the West Coast with us, so that would be sometime, sorry, which
Noon,
days?
around noon my time.
Would this Saturday work?
Have to check. Something about Saturday. Well, we can talk about that.
Okay, yeah, she's coming over here
via
on
text.
Friday. Yeah, she's coming over here Friday for the touch and feel, and that'll put her, through the process. of
Saturday
step.
could work. Just
Okay.
just a time. You got to give me a time.
Yeah, we'll
So, time. Yeah, Saturday could work.
we'll let you know. Thank you.
Right. up.
Just to
Madeline.
add to that,
Sorry.
Michael, for
Yep.
anybody else on the call, if you need any help, if you want to do a business plan, if you want to figure out what the challenge you have and solve that, and you want to move forward, and you don't mind working with me, give me a call. Because here's what I know. Your success is my continued success.
Right.
So if you guys aren't successful, I'm going to come and shoot you. Okay.
Bleep. No, seriously, definitely, there's no stupid question here, because if you're not functional, if you're not productive, if you're not getting the results, well, what are we doing here then?
Yeah.
We're investing our time and energy because we want to improve the situation for all of you who are here investing your time and energy. So it's not a general thing. We're talking to you because you're our partners and you're here. I'm not talking to the people who are not on this call, and maybe the ones who are listening on the playback. Yeah, they are included as well. But definitely, we're here to support and work with people who want to get results. Madeline.
I wanted to say, you started out by saying there weren't a lot of people in the coming yet. And I think it goes back to that concept of like the momentum of prospecting and how many people you need to call till you really find somebody to get into the process. And then not just keep working with one. And I have one family, a woman that has been sponsored, and the stepson came to visit his father and her stepson, and it's his father that she's married to. And he came to visit him driving from Texas because he's not well. They came in because of him and products, only to get a note from his boss that, "I'm not happy that you left, so you don't have a job to come back to." So he's a single parent with no job. So I ended up spending an hour and a half, have been in contact since, but there's all the dynamics of visiting, not having the job suddenly, making plans to go home because he has this daughter to take care of back in Dallas and so forth. And so just thinking about the amount, and this looks good. There's already another potential customer or possible distributor of the stepmothers in Miami. So we're talking about several different places, and they're from 2 different countries in Latin America. So there's a real good potential, but that, especially me, not giving too much information to begin
Madeline,
with,
is there a
and to get
question?
them to get on, so the question is for all of us to know that we really need to be seeing a lot of people and not just be working with whoever we have in process to find the one that we need to find. And I think that momentum, getting back into,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things in taking Dave's course. We had to go out and talk to however many people and do it in a certain period of time and come back with some information. And so of actually getting out that factor of really talking to people. So that's the point that I wanted to make. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could make prospecting fun, if it could
Yeah.
be something that's actually enjoyable and fun, because you're not attached to the outcome, then you'd probably do it more often, and you'd find fun and clever ways to do it. If you really taxed yourself, challenged yourself to come with a fun way to engage people and just see, check what's there, what's going on with them, then you'd do it more often. And it doesn't take a lot of people to build an empire in this business, but you have to be prepared to go through however many people you have to go through. I had a list of 154 names when I joined Niken. They were all qualified. These were not people who were retail opportunities for me. They were business potential partners. I never got through that list. 154 names. I sponsored 36 people in 2 months. Or excuse me, 35 people in 2 months. 26 the first month, 9 the second month. Because I was intent on doing that. I had no idea what these people would do. I just presented the opportunity for them to be part of a moving train. This thing was a train, and it was in motion, and they got a chance to get on board or miss out. I created a sense of urgency, because for me there was urgency, and there was a sense of urgency. When you don't operate with urgency, then it doesn't change the energetics necessary for a person to take you more seriously. I call it the big pill theory. If I came along with this tiny little pill and say, "Hey, you should try this. It's really good for you, makes you feel better." Or I came along with a pill the size of a horse pill and said, "Here, swallow this now." Which of the two is going to get your attention? The big pill, right? You're going to start asking what the heck? What is this? What's it like? It doesn't matter. It just the big pill gets your attention. So, what is it that's going to get somebody's attention? Play with that, because there's so many people in the world. There's no shortage of people. But if you're alone in your home and you're not getting out there and you're not out with the intent of finding somebody, or at least challenging yourself to entertain yourself with prospecting. I know Leo does it all the time. Leo LeMay, he does it all the time. He does it when we were at dinner. He prospects the people at dinners, the hostess and whatnot. So he has fun with it. He doesn't know where it's going to go, but he does it, and as a matter of course. It doesn't miss an opportunity to do that. And that's the key to being in business. If you're in business, it's like handing out cards. Remember, once upon a time, we used to hand out our card. And if you weren't handing out your card, you're like not very professional if you didn't even have a card. So it's just like that. You got to get out there. You got to get circulating and find a fun way, make it fun for you, a fun way that you can prospect and have these conversations that could lead to who knows what.
I got a great story, Michael.
And then we'll go to Barbara. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, because it's on this point. So I was in Herbalife. It was in the 80s, and the tag on the bumper sticker was "Lose weight now, ask me how." So what we did is we made little 3x5 cards, said full-time or part-time income, a range $500 to $1,500, and then if for information, call, put it on number. We'd fold those up, and then we walk around parking lots of gyms, workout spaces, and stick those on the windshield or stick them in the car door. You get your exercise and you push out, and you never know. So one day I do this. I've been doing it for a couple of weeks, a few weeks, a month maybe, and then all of a sudden I get a call. The guy says, "You stuck this card on my door. What's this all about?" And I gave him a little intro, and I said, "Where are you located?" He said, "Well, I'm over here." And I said, "I'm over here. There's a restaurant right down there. Why don't we meet?" Well, we met at the restaurant. I took the kit. We sat down, and I used the salt and pepper shaker and the sugar packets and the knife and the fork to demonstrate the business. And he says, "This sounds great." And he said, "Oh," so I said, "Are you ready to get started?" He said, "Yeah." So then I drove him down to the corporation, Herbalife headquarters, and he bought his supervisor package for $2,000. Now, I never knew that morning when I woke up that if I went and stuck pieces of paper on somebody's car, that they would call me up and go and spend $2,000 and join my business, and he turned me on to an army of people. See, this is one of the keys of our business, is understanding the effect of your activity. And so if you don't do an activity, you never understand what can happen. But if you do an activity and be consistent and monitor it, then all of a sudden you're going to see a pattern. You're going to see, okay, I need 2 people. Well, I have to talk to 20 people to get 2, so you talk to 20 people. No, I mean, again, if I told you that if you made 100 dials a day on the phone, and at the end of 100 dials a day, I'd give you a gold brick worth $2,000. How many of you would do 100 dials a day? Come on, all of you would. Who wouldn't for $2,000? You see, but you don't know that. But if you did do the 100 calls, you would find somebody, and they would get involved with the business, and they would join you, and you'd make $20,000 from their activity. See, that's up here. There you go, Michael.
Beauty. Yeah. Barbara.
Yeah, hey Mike. Hey guys, this is great. I wanted to say something in response to Judy. And what I found was when I started out, I wanted everything. And we didn't have that much. We had the sleep system. We had just come out with the far infrared wraps. And so, but I, as a family of 2 and having just moved to Florida, a lot of things were going on. We didn't have $500 to spend. But as the weekend occurred and things happened, then all of a sudden the light bulbs went off and we had it to invest. So there's a shift in that, and we were able to invest. At first we invested $1,500 and just got our topper back then, the thing. And then the next month we bought the big, huge mattress and the other things and spent about another 2,500, knowing that we needed to be a product of the product. And so Mike and Dave are brilliant at being a product of the product. And what you do, your people are going to do. So you're going to talk to this person, and Madeline, this is for you. This may or may not be for you, but this is what, I did or you did or what's recommended, because, you need to have, you can't sell a vacuum cleaner if you don't have a vacuum cleaner. You can't, if you don't have those items to show, then, it's that much more beneficial. The other thing that I thought was really great was, the you don't need to know until, that's what the whole team is about. So even though I'm a Royal Diamond, I need an A. Maggie needs an A. Y'all heard her set up an A, B, C. Don't try and do this by yourself. It's not for you to answer. Yours is to get the why, their family, their friends, know their dog's name, know where they want to travel to, where they want to go, all those kind of things, and let them do the work and be the bad guy or the good guy and say the pro con and really, how hungry are you? All those kind of things, right? So I just wanted to underline that part of it, Mike. And then I love the creating urgency. The creating urgency is, this is back to Judy and the team, but I'm building this with or without you, so where are you going? Where is your vision in this? Because they need to know that you're going to be there for the long haul as well. So Mike, you want to clean that part of it up, because the vision is what people jump on your skirt tail until they can come up with their own vision. And that's the beauty of what Mike and Dave did. Mike and Dave had the big, huge picture. Now, I gradually got that, but I finagled my way and used these guys' stories or other leaders at the time, Bart Cotter and other people that really were like the fastest growing and making this amount of money and replacing their income. And I used their skirt tails to jump on until I could do it myself. And so I just wanted to underline that part. Leverage.
Thanks, Barbara. And yes, leverage. No shame. In the other world, that would be almost shameful, right? Fake it till you make it. In this world, it's absolutely how this world works. It's how it works. Leverage. Thank you. Leo.
Just a minute. Sorry, guys, I'm busy because it's about 1 week on the TikTok.
Leo's a TikToker now.
Yeah, now it's TikTok, and I just talked with a woman from Florida. I just shared. That's why I listen to you and I text to her, and I just wait for Telegram or WhatsApp to share 3 videos of Nikan. She said, "What you do? Can you explain what you do?" And you contact with TikTok. It's about 60 followers on 1 week. It's not bad. And each time I share a picture of me or book or everything, I have over 200 C. And I said, "Hi, thank you." I just say that, "Thank you," thumbs up. And I practice my English, of course. I don't try because I believe people from the United States. Just TikTok. I don't good for make a video like Mike's son. I just share a picture of me on a coffee with the book. You see, Nikan. That's it. And she said, "What you do?" "Ah, it's okay." Gee, she just answered me. You see, she wait for me she asked me for my phone number to Telegram or WhatsApp because for video. Go to what? TikTok, guys. It's funny.
Leo, you just said something. I got a call from a good friend of mine. He said, "Why aren't you guys doing any videos of your waterfall, the chlorine test and the pH test?" He said, "You guys will make a killing on that." Because there's so many companies. There's one company that sells like a $5,000 water filter, or $3,000, like really expensive stuff. He says your product does what theirs does for a fraction of the cost. Why don't you do what they're doing? They just do like simple chlorine test, simple pH test, and that get some stimulation, some activity going. Do that on TikTok, and bingo. I mean, it's just a great way to attract attention.
Thank you,
Mike, that big system for 5,000 doesn't filter. It has like a Brita filter on the front end.
Yeah,
and then it
yeah,
just
no, it's
treats the water.
it's just the point is, it's something we can all do. We've all done it. How many of you have done a chlorine
Right.
test? How many of you done
Right.
the pH test on? Okay, so you know how to do it. Just film yourself doing it on TikTok, and show part of the waterfall or something, and say, for a fraction of the cost of bottled water, bottled spring water, we've got this amazing solution. And if you think that's cool, you should see what else we've got. Leave your name below if you want to know more. Like just something like that. It's a teaser. The idea here is to attract some attention. And as Leo's saying, he's getting followers on TikTok in 1 week, and he's not even speaking fluent English. So come on, guys, it's not impossible. Madeline.
I just want to add something, Mike.
Yeah.
You remember, hey guys, you remember my video I did 18 May for faith, fun, and finances?
Right.
I recapped and I showed to my English TikTok when he said, "Who are you? What do you do? You want to know who I am? I'm French Canadian from Montreal, but I show you my video and have a good result." He said, "Oh, I like it." I remember 1 week ago, 44 view, and now I have 1,094 view. 150 in 1 week.
And so now what happens is he's creating content, he's getting viewers, and if he follows it up, some of those viewers are going to see it again, and he's going to get more conversations, more people asking questions. That's the way a lot of people who are using social media for their businesses are attracting business. They put out what they're fun at or good at or whatever they want to explain, and it creates an attraction. And that's it. That's just the nature of the reality we live in. Madeline.
I want to tell a little more about this story. So Michelina is 52. Jesus, the father, no, she's 50. He's 52. And this Giovanni is 31. So where I met him, it's just like Leo in the coffee shop. I met the couple in the 1 hour long confession line. Catholics go once a year at Easter time. So, and her husband's in there 45 minutes. And so he was handicapped. So Florence Nightingale, go to help him get in there so that we could get out of there because we're already there 45 minutes. So I'm talking to her, upsetting other people and just asking her a little bit more. And so afterwards I waited and we ended up talking. They came here to my wellness home, and she borrowed a waterfall and a sleep system, and of course wanted it all, couldn't afford it. And I forgot who they were, finally so I get this call last week that she has the money saved and she wants it. Well, when it was time to buy her waterfall, she does some kind of an at-home business. And she said, now tell me more about this. She's asking me. She couldn't, it took her 6 months to say that she could afford to buy it, but all of a sudden she's asking about the business. I want to talk about how smart she is. And so she ends up getting the membership so that the father has a power band around his neck now too, besides the water, and because of his health issues. And by the time it's on back order now until the end of October. So I delivered one to their home so that they could have one. I had an extra one to loan to them. So I have my car running and I didn't want to stay. She said, no, just come in. I want you to see Jesus. Well, here's the 31-year-old. That's who she wanted me to see because she knew what the whole situation was. And she was trying to explain the strength test to him and so forth. She set that up, lickety split, had water for everybody, put the power band on the father's neck, and there was your picture, Mike, with that power band on your neck. And, me telling him about starting to talk about coming to these events this week and so forth, and doing the strength and the energy tests. And that young man just absolutely lit up. Well, then she got busy making food, whatever, stayed in the background. She was a perfect bee listening to everything that was going on. I tried to engage her. Nope, I had Jesus and Giovanni's attention now. And the husband who was against this, now all of a sudden, here's the son unemployed, and he pulls out the picture of the granddaughter that he has to go back to help raise and so forth. So I end up being there 2 hours. And by the time we left, Giovanni had he was depressed, 5 glasses of water, came out to the car, was a totally different person. And so I had hoped to have him here this evening, and I don't know where he's going to be or what he's going back.
There is a Giovanni on the line.
Is Giovanni on the line?
Yes.
Well, Giovanni, say hello.
He may be shy. It's okay. We see he's on the line.
Okay.
Madeline,
so
you got to wrap
there.
up. I've got some content I got to
Okay, I
get
don't
through
want to
before
wrap
the other
up. I
call.
want you to comment. I want him to meet you. So, Michael, say something to Giovanni. Here's a
Giovanni,
perfect
I'd
day
love to meet
you.
you. Madeline can set up a call that we can have just the 3 of us, and I would be happy and thrilled to answer any questions you might have, learn a little bit about my story and my family story, my children and whatnot, and what this whole Niken thing is all about and where it could lead for somebody like you. I was 27 when I was introduced to this. So if you're a youngin' and you're looking for not a normal life, but an extraordinary life, stick around.
And Dave, what was your story? You don't have to go into the whole 8,000, but as far as 3 children and needing money and being hungry or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'd be more than happy to do the same thing. Let's do a 3-way.
Right on. Mrs. Kramer, I see your hand is up. Before you comment, I have to get this out so that at least I can complete this cycle here. So we are at the month-end stretch. Typically, this is when you want to start to draw on whatever resources you can to help people make decisions. So some of the things that we have available, Niken has offered free shipping this month on all purchases over a certain amount. That is a huge incentive for people to get some products, whether they're a retail customer, potentially offer that as an incentive. Also, the business strategy that I like to use at month end is to help people advance. Advancements in rank mean more money for them in the following months, in the following activities. So helping somebody advance in rank is for me the utmost important thing. Because that is going to ultimately affect their bottom line, which is why they're in the business in the first place. So there are things that I like to look at is how can I help somebody advance, or a tic-tac-toe strategy, helping this person then helps that person get that much closer, which helps that person get much closer. So you have to have a look at your organization, your team, whoever's in the genealogy, draw it out and find out who have you been talking with. Who can we call and offer them something that maybe causes them to make a decision to get that waterfall or to get that sleep system or whatever, or to join and get involved. And then that can lead to the next piece, which is now we're this much closer. Who can we call that does? And so you start working that strategy of helping somebody advance based on who they may have reached out to, but haven't really introduced you yet. You haven't done the ABC calls. And if you come equipped with some incentives in your back pocket to say, hey, you've been thinking about a sleep system. Tell you what, if you do this, I'll do that. And now you might say, okay, wait, that's going to cost me some money. If you look at it from a strategic point of view, it might be a small investment on your part, but what's the advantage of a return on investment? It's the potential of what's coming. And so I use a product as an incentive to help somebody make a bigger product decision. So maybe a $200 product might garner $1,000 investment, that combination. But what I also like to do is I like to leverage points. Every product you purchase has a point value. Who on my team needs points? So I might place the order where that person with that particular distributor shipped to the person who I offered the product to. So one person gets the points, another person gets the product, 2 people win. Now, what is the person who's going to get the points willing to do to get the points? And again, that's part of the strategy. So you may be having 2, 3 different people that you're working with or more as you're working this strategy to increase the volume and the success rate of people converting both into customers, consultants, and rank advancements. That's what I call the month-end stretch. And if you need to know more about that, reach out to me and I can help you draw out what the situation is for you. And so now, over to you, Mrs. Kramer. You have a question, comment?
Yes, thank you. It's just a comment. There is already a video with the pH test comparing several different kinds of water. I don't have it right in front of me, but I have it in my computer someplace, but you can find it, I'm sure.
Okay, well, if you do find it, share it with us on the chat. But yeah, this is what I actually do. So I actually go out and buy bottled water. I don't ever have it. I had somebody ask me for a bottle of water today, and I'm like, so I came out with this huge thing. I don't have any. I drink my water. Anyway, so yeah, so we do that. Go out and buy 5 or 6 of the top brands, popular brands, and what I usually do is I put a piece of white paper down and the bottle and a cup in front, clear plastic cup in front of the bottle of water so they know what the water is. And I put a little bit of water and I put the OTO drops or the pH drops, whichever one you're testing. Usually it's the pH one that I do. And you can see the acid alkaline levels of all of those waters. And you can include a Nikon sport bottle and the waterfall so they can see what it looks like. These different types of water. You can do it in front of them, or you can have it pre-done. But if you're doing that,
You just gave me a fantastic idea because we have a lot of parties here to raise money for charity. And last night I was at a wedding, and of course they have all of these bottled water things on the table, and I should take with me when I really go to these parties just to meet people. This one happened to be a family wedding, but I should take with me drops and say, by the way, let me look at this. Look at what you're drinking here. Put some drops of water in it, drops of pH tester in it.
right on. All right, let's wrap up here. Dave, any last thoughts?
Again, if you got a goal that you're shooting for, you got a week left. Monday is Sunday or Monday the last day, whatever the last day is coming up in a few short days. So do your plans, go to work, kick butt, and take prisoners.
My comment, it isn't over until it's over, and only then will you set or reset the goals. So keep on it. All right, everybody.
Let's have a bunch of people for Thursday.
Definitely. And if you didn't get to the Seiko Kai, or if you haven't watched the playback, definitely do that. Share it. Really, really, really great information.
And can we clap for Connie Livingston? Did we say that Snow White and they're not 7 dwarfs. We're not allowed to say dwarfs, I guess, or whatever, but that was absolutely profound. Yes.
Yeah, great talk. Excellent. All right, everybody. See you next week. Have a great month end.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.